Braid check. Beef jerky. Sponsor me, please. Help me get out of the mental health hospital, please. Fund me my freedom. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ciara Jessica, and this is the first video of my nervous system series, which focuses on the OpenStax textbook, chapter 12.1, Basic Functions and Structures of the Nervous System. Disclaimer, this is the very first lecture that I'm posting on this channel, so please be ruthless in the comments. I really want to improve on whatever I can so that I can deliver clear and concise study information for you as my student. Hopefully by the end of this video, you as the student will be able to confidently discuss each of these questions. And if not, that is totally okay and totally fine, because maybe you'll remember a random fact that you learned from this video and it will jog your memory on a test. Or maybe you'll use a random fact that you learned from this video to break an awkward silence. Biology is the science of life and living organisms. By the way, if you reach the end of this lecture, I have a test that I can send you by email, and I will give you personalized feedback. New students can click the Google link down in the description to register for my class, while returning students can follow the instructions that I have also outlined in the description. With that, let's get into the topic. Why am I starting with the nervous system? I'm starting with the nervous system because I am very interested in studying the brain, which is an essential organ to the nervous system. Brain health is significant to me because treatment for my mental health condition, schizophrenia, revolves around keeping my mind as healthy as possible, which is only possible if I take care of my brain. What is the nervous system? The nervous system is an organized network of tissues that control movements, thoughts, and automatic responses in the body. It is basically the command center that dictates how you react to changes within your environment. The nervous system can be categorized into two regions, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is composed of the brain and spinal cord, while the peripheral nervous system contains all other nerves that are outside of the brain and spinal cord. What vocabulary do I need to understand the nervous system? I've compiled a list of the most important vocabulary words that I think are essential to understanding the nervous system. And those words include neurons, glial cells, soma, process, axon, dendrite, white and gray matter, nucleus, ganglion, tract, and nerve. Both the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system contain two types of cells, neurons and glial cells, which in conjunction with each other can be said to be neuroglia. Let's first take a look at glial cells. Glial cells are protective cells that provide chemical and physical support to neurons and maintain environmental conditions for neuronal function. We will be looking at glial cells in more depth in the next lecture. This leads me to the next vocabulary word, neuron. Neurons are the functional cells that are responsible for communicating chemical and electrical information throughout the nervous system. To me, the neuron is the coolest cell because neurons are responsible for directing neural pathways in the brain to create thoughts and memories. I'll probably make a bonus video about my thoughts on how thoughts are actually created chemically within the brain in response to neurons firing, and this sounds like thinking about thinking, which is like thoughtception, which can be thought of as inception. I'm not high, I swear. The next three vocabulary words describe the physical features of a neuron. Soma is the term that is used to describe the cell body of a neuron. The most important process that comes from a neuron is called the axon, and the axon is the fiber that extends to the dendrites of other neurons to communicate chemical information. Dendrites are processes that protrude from the cell body of a neuron, and these processes receive signals from the axons of previous neurons. What is gray matter, white matter, and how do those structures relate to the structures of neurons? Gray matter refers to the regions of the nervous system that contain very many cell bodies and dendrites. Gray matter can also be pinkish sometimes due to the blood content, but it is often referred to as gray matter because it is significantly darker than white matter. White matter refers to the regions of the nervous system that contain many axons. When comparing the central nervous system with the peripheral nervous system, similar structures between the two systems can be called different names. For example, in the central nervous system, a collection of cell bodies is called a nucleus, while the same structure within the peripheral nervous system can be called a ganglion. These collections can be thought of as centers for specific functions of the nervous system. A bundle of fibers, also called a bundle of axons, within the central nervous system can be called a tract, while the same structure within the peripheral nervous system can be called a nerve. You can remember the differences between these words by remembering this picture of the optic chiasm. Optic nerves leave the eye in the peripheral nervous system and eventually become tracts as they enter the cranium and become part of the central nervous system. What are the anatomical and functional divisions of the nervous system? The nervous system is complicated in the sense that the multiple anatomical structures of this system can be involved with overlapping functions. There are two ways to view the functions of the nervous system. One are the basic functions, which are sensation, response, and integration, and two, somatic and autonomic control of the body. Let's look at the basic functions first. The nervous system can be categorized into two other regions that are called sensory functions and motor functions. Sensation is a major function of the nervous system because it registers and communicates environmental information throughout the body. This environmental information can be registered by the body when the body encounters a stimulus, which is a change in the homeostasis in the internal or external environment. Homeostasis is a word which here means balance. Some examples of sensations are taste, touch, smell, and hearing. Other sensations which are felt during sex, during being sick, during class when you are feeling very tired, those are also examples of sensations. Some fun facts about myself. I possess the ability to tune a guitar by ear, and I am also an empathetic individual by nature. Empathy means that I can sense the emotions that others around me are feeling, and as a result of these two traits that I possess, I hypothesize that I have developed a super hearing for emotions and feelings that I hear within voices. I credit this ability for my skills in communication, especially within teaching. Some other examples of internal sensations would be feeling the urge to urinate or being drunk on alcohol. Responses in the nervous system are produced in reaction to stimuli perceived by sensory structures. And an example of a response would be pulling my hand away after touching a hot pan on a stove. Responses can be split into voluntary or involuntary movements, and these are dictated by somatic or autonomic nervous systems respectively. I will be presenting information on these two systems within the next few minutes. Integration involves both sensory and response functioning that determine sensations that include emotional state, memory, and cognition. When stimulus information is processed, otherwise known as integration, the stimuli are compared with the memories of previous stimuli and/or the stimuli that someone is currently experiencing. An example of integration would be texting someone while you are listening to music. The stimuli from listening to happy music might influence your emotional state and mental cognition and cause you to respond to a text in a happy manner. Now let's look at the nervous system divisions that control the body. The somatic nervous system is responsible for conscious, voluntary movement in motor responses. An example of a somatic nervous response is the movement of my fingers when I am playing the guitar. Because I am consciously choosing to move my fingers in a certain way, I am actively using my somatic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is responsible for the subconscious, involuntary control of the body in response to internal and external stimuli. An example of the autonomic nervous system function would be sweating, as my body does this when it senses a positive rise in temperature. Okay, so what have we learned so far? Now we know what kind of cells make up the nervous system. We know the difference between the gray and white matter within the nervous system. We know the basic functions and structures of the nervous system, and we can now distinguish between the anatomical and functional components of the nervous system. And that wraps up the material that I have for this first lecture video. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting me by liking and subscribing to my channel. I have to do a plug for myself. I have put my student package information in the description below, as well as instructions for how to register as a student with my program. I hope you can leave me some positive criticisms in the comment section, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.